Hey everyone. Something I see a lot of people struggling with and asking questions about is how to pick colors when they're working on a new project, when learning design, starting a new app, or whatever. One of the aspects of that is picking the right shades of a color. So I'm going to show you a technique I use to pick the right shades, make sure they're far enough away in color and shade and saturation. And this is just one of many tactics. Just one. And so I don't really have a name for it. I don't know. What I do is make a button. So I'm in Sketch here. You could do this with CSS. It doesn't matter. The same technique would work in any app, any design app. I like Sketch. I'm going to do Sketch. So we're going to make a box and we're just going to make a button. I like 60 pixels high by 180. I feel like this is a nice kind of like normal button size. So you're going to pick any color. So maybe you want an orange or a blue or a red or a purple or a pink or whatever. I'm just going to pick a whatever blue. And this is going to be our midpoint color. Okay, so here's what we do. I'll also make a couple of these little boxes. We're going to make a little color palette down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, we'll take that. I'll group them, center them into the middle. Okay, so we've got this will be a button. I'm going to add a little border radius. We're going to round those corners just a touch. And we're going to do two things. We're going to add a border, a 1 pixel border, or we're going to add an inner shadow. That's going to be a 1 pixel, no blur inner shadow. And what we're going to do is make a very slightly 3D button. So we're going to add a border and that shadow. The border is going to be a little bit darker than the main color. Okay, so we're just going to color pick the same color and we're going to slide this down. You can kind of move it around, but slide this down till it's darker so you can actually see that. Just wait till you see the contrast. Imagine you're playing your PS4, your Xbox, and it's trying to tell you, can you see the color when you're adjusting the brightness, right? They give you that image and you have to adjust the color until you can just barely see it. We want to just barely tell that there's a border. Okay, this is totally subjective. This is fine. This is your design. You can do whatever you want. There's no wrong way to do this. And then on the inner shadow, we're going to make sure that our alpha is up to 100%. And we're going to go just a little bit lighter. So we're going to add a little dark or a lighter line right here across the top. So instead of going down, we're going to go to the left. And we're going to bring that out until you can you might need to stare close at the screen. Boom. Somewhere right in there, you start to see a little line come across. Okay. That is our first button. I feel like this should be a little more rounded. Yeah, that looks better. All right, so there is a slight outline. And there's a slight inner reflection here, making a very simple 3D button. Okay, so we're going to ungroup those and start picking our colors. Boom, the middle color is color 1. Then we're going to take the darker color, put it here to the right. We'll take our lighter color, put it over here to the left. Now we have 3 of our colors. Then we're going to just slide this down. We are literally going to duplicate the button. This becomes that, so 1 shade darker. The inner shadow becomes 1 to the left. So we're going to pick what was the main color before, and now we're going to make a new border color. Do the same thing, look at it carefully, slide it down until you can tell that there's a border. Somewhere around there looks good. There's no wrong answer. Just make sure that contrast looks good. You're going to copy that color and you're going to move it down here. Boom. Move that over, make a new button. Center goes here. Inner shadow goes 1 to the left. And you're going to make a darker border. Right around there looks good. Paste that color in. And then we're going to go the other way. I'm just doing this for for the visual sake. You don't have to keep these. But if we want to go to the left, right? So now we're going to take the center color is going to be the 1 to the left. The border is going to be 1 to the right, which was the previous center color. The inner shadow needs to get lighter now. So we're going to look at that, make sure you can see that get lighter, somewhere right around there. And that becomes this color. Then 1 more, move these down. Center becomes the new one. Border becomes the old one. And the inner shadow gets lighter still. And there you go. There's a color scale. It looks pretty good, honestly. You could go in through here and tinker with it just a little bit, make sure, and update your colors. But there's like a nice 7 color scale for your blue, and that'll work for any shade, whatever you start with. It's kind of important to not programmatically do this where you're using like HSL values or whatever your color of choice. Like you can come in here and switch over to HSL, right? And just like increase saturation or like decrease the lightness. Do this by sight, because when it comes to design and colors, like magic number stuff that ends in 0s and 5s and like they don't matter. Like if it's 209, 101, 49, don't just like make that 210 and like 50 because your like OCD nature kicks in. Just like leave the colors the way they are. They look good. Trust in yourself and see if this helps.